We're on our way to Adelaide. I haven't been on a plane since February last year when we last went to Adelaide, strangely enough. Jesse actually flew the other week for work, so he's been kind of recently. At the moment, the borders in Australia are such that at any time, if COVID takes off in any of the capital cities, they could shut everything down and we would probably be stuck in Adelaide.
Yes.
There's a chance we'll be stuck in Adelaide, but we're going for a wedding. We're just going to go.
Risk it for the biscuit.
We'll see you in Adelaide. Me and books. It's like moth to a flame.
Look at the size of those.
So we made it to Adelaide. We flew in last night and headed to our Airbnb. We really like staying in Airbnbs because they tend to be a whole lot cheaper. We haven't travelled anywhere away from Austin the van, but now that we've flown somewhere, we can't really sleep in Austin, can we?
Back to Airbnb life. Now we've come to the Adelaide Central Markets.
And we've spent a little bit of time walking around here, seeing all the cool stalls that they've got going on, and found ourselves some coffee from the coffee bean shop.
Mine's very delicious. Nice. Yeah, it's very good.
It's got a little bit of fruitiness to it, which is cool.
Yeah.
And also, we found a gluten-free donut store.
So we've been looking for a store we went to once.
It's no longer here, but instead, a stand of gluten-free donuts is. So I think I'm gonna have to get some. I think they're actually opening a franchise of this in Canberra, where we live soon. So I'm very much looking forward to that, but I thought I should sample the goods first. So I got some different flavours. This one will just be a plain old cinnamon. It's a good cinnamon donut.
Give us a go.
Quality control.
Oh, it is good.
As a person who can eat glutinous donuts, still good. I've got an apple one. It's called Eve's Undoing, which is a very cute name. So they make all the donuts the same and they just put different flavoured sugars on them, and that apple sugar is really nice. I like that. And then finally, a coffee yum yum. The coffee's not very strong in that. Oh yeah, there it is. I think, well, obviously I love cinnamon donuts, but I think for something different, the apple one's actually my favourite. And he threw in an extra one in the bag, even though I only ordered 3 because he thought they were looking a little bit small today. So I'm in luck. If you come out of the market and hang a right and walk for a little bit, you'll come to Victoria Square, which is our next spot. This is Victoria Square. When I said you come right out of the market, I later realised that there are several entrances out of the market and it's not necessarily going to be right, so you might just have to look it up. This spot is obviously under some construction right now, as you can see with all of the witches' hats and all that sort of thing. Usually on the other side of the road back behind me, there's all kinds of fountains and umbrellas where you can sit down and relax and have a good time. And it's also kind of a marking point of the middle of the city, so if you're feeling a bit lost in the city and you find this, you can figure out where the hell you are. It's also sitting on the main road. Fun fact about Adelaide, it has the widest main street of all of Australia's capital cities.
Is that just this area because of the park, or actually just up there as well?
That's a good question. It's pretty wide outside of this park area as well, but where the park is, it spreads out around the park, so it obviously gets very wide. Even with all the works, it's still good to sit here and stare at all of the buildings that you can see from Victoria Square here, because there's lots of cool old buildings from, I'd say, original Adelaide, scattered around the square, along with high-rises, of course, because it is a capital city.
And Adelaide being the city of churches, I'm going to assume they were either all churches at one point, or still are.
But we can definitely see at least one sitting right here in the square, and where we were staying last night, there was one right near it and one across the road from it, so they're everywhere.
Alright, on closer inspection, one building was definitely a post office, and might still be.
Also, it looks like half of the works that are going on in the square right now are actually for a tasting festival, a cooking festival that's going on.
Which starts the day
just after we leave.
The day after we leave.
Damn. Oh well.
Who's a good boy? Look at the size of this. Oh.
The tree loving has already begun. We've come to the Adelaide Botanic Gardens for a little bit of plant life, and because Jesse really loves plants, especially trees, and he's already spotted his favourite tree in the place, although we've only been in here for about 100 metres, so there could be about 100 more favourite trees yet. This one is pretty cool. I mean, look at those roots.
Moreton Bay fig. Very nice.
You kind of found another favourite tree. We've only walked 2 more steps.
What's this place?
Well, see, I don't research places like gardens too much, too heavily, so that it's kind of a surprise when you walk into one. And we've just seen there's an Amazon water lily pavilion here, and that sounds kind of cool.
Oh wow.
It is kind of cool. Whoa, that is a big water lily. I don't think I've seen anything like that in any other botanic garden, and you know, we visit quite a few of those. It's huge. It's like almost wider than my arms outstretched. Wow, what a cool plant. Oh my gosh, I just realised that they're all connected in the centre, and all of these little spiky branches coming out are all one plant. How cool! Let's go to the Amazon. Apparently there's a bit of a story that goes with the Amazon water lily. There was once a girl who was obsessed with the moon, fell in love with it, and one day while she was sitting by a pond, she slipped in and drowned, and the moon gods felt so sorry for her that they turned her into an Amazon water lily. And because she was in love with the moon, she actually comes out and blooms into a beautiful white flower when the moon comes out. And as per the story, she does indeed flower into a white bloom at around 5 p.m. And then the beetles come in and they're attracted to her banana and ripe pineapple scent.
Yum.
So if you're here at 5 p.m, which I think the garden's closed by then, but if you were here at 5 p.m, you could see her turn into a beautiful white flower. Entered the rainforest. As soon as we walked in, we started to hear all the bird sounds of a rainforest and other animals. We're actually in the conservatory at the moment, and it's kind of funny, the second we walked in it felt like we actually walked into a real rainforest. I don't think I've ever had quite that impression walking straight into a building before. Look at the roof.
Make sure you walk down on the lower path because then you get the full experience. You get the rainforest scent. And it smells delicious.
Dank and earthy wet smell.
Yeah. Ah, this one's great. Here's our phallic friends that we saw in Melbourne the other day. I spy with my little eye something beginning with cactus. Give it a touch.
Not so sure about that. Mad. Wouldn't be surprised if it was designed by Gaudi. It's got that nature imitating art kind of look about it. A friend clued me into this place as part of a list of gluten-free places to eat in Adelaide because she knew I was coming here. Shout out to Jo. And apparently this place is completely gluten-free, but it's a pub. And if you can't eat gluten, then you know how hard it is to find a pub meal of just like a plain chicken schnitzel or something that's gluten-free. So I can't wait for this. Well, Jesse's just gone to order the food, which I had a hard time choosing, believe me, because it's not every day that I get a whole pub menu full of gluten-free things to choose from. One of the nice things, in some ways, about being gluten-free is that the choice is limited, so it's kind of easy to decide, but when I'm faced with a huge menu of options, I'm like, what do I do? But anyway, we've come out to the beer garden because it's a really nice beer garden. It's really well decorated, plants everywhere, and I'm very happy with this place.
I'm here with my schooner of beer. Doesn't look like a schooner. When I was walking away I thought, oh hang on, that's not a schooner, and then I was like, oh that's right. In South Australia, if you ask for a pint, I think you get New South Wales schooner size, so if you ask for a schooner, you get what we would call a middy, or what they call a pot. in Victoria. Anyway, I stuck with the gluten-free theme and went for 2 Bays Pale Ale. Let's try it. The flavour's delish. Hoppy and fruity. Maybe the only difference would be slightly more watery feeling. So 2 Bays is down on the Mornington Peninsula. We almost went there on our Melbourne trip. We considered it, but we didn't quite get that south. Oh, that's right. They were going to be closed on the day that we happened to be heading down that way. We've heard that 2 Bays is the go for gluten-free beer. I've tried a couple and they've been delish. We're going to have to put them up against some other ones, such as O'Brien's. They've been around for a very long time, doing the gluten-free thing.
And in your opinion, as a normal beer drinker, how does it compare?
It's delicious. Flavour's spot on.
There you go. You can have it all and be gluten-free.
Yeah, but Dana, you don't drink beer. So now we've just got to convert Dana to drinking beer so she can enjoy the high life as well.
I better give it a go since I'm here and it's gluten-free and I'm gluten-free and it's seemingly a match made in heaven. I just don't like beer, but maybe this will convert me. Well, I mean, when you first sip it, it does have a good flavour. If I could learn to look past the beer aftertaste that all beers have, I might enjoy it. Oh, it just still tastes like beer. I'm sorry. So instead, I've got myself a Hills pear cider. The Hills is just outside Adelaide here, and if we're lucky, we might get to drop into the collective where they're based in a few days when we head outside of Adelaide. For now, I'll just sit here at the Duke of Brunswick and sip my pear Hills cider. It's been a really long time since I've been able to walk into a pub and order a schnitty, so I ordered a schnitty. It looks so good too. Look at that crumb, so crisp and delicious. And with gravy, another thing that you just can't walk into a place and order. So a bit of gravy, got some chips as well. Chicken schnitzel, you are my OTP, my one true pairing. I've been missing you all this time. That is so crunchy and delicious and perfect, and the chicken is juicy and the gravy's yum, and I might melt into a puddle. So good. I don't know if I want to share it anymore. No. But I will.
We've worked out why the chicken schnitzel is so delicious. It's because it's made from pork. When I went to order, I only asked for the schnitty. I didn't realise there was 2. And it seems there is also a pork on the menu, so Dana doesn't eat pork too often. So I think she's now converted to pork.
This is nice though. More cacti and succulents. We can't escape these things. Come out of the city a little bit, down to Glenelg, which is on the beach, obviously. You can see it behind me. There's a pretty cool like Corso walking street kind of area with trams and all that sort of thing. We actually have a hire car, but if you don't have a car, you can get here by tram, I believe. Though you may want to consider a car if you're in Adelaide, because a lot of the allure of Adelaide is what you can do outside of Adelaide, and you kind of need a car to get there. Last time we were here, they actually had a really cool beach bar actually on the beach. It kind of looked like pictures I've seen of Greece. We haven't actually been to Greece. At the moment there isn't one there. I don't know if that's COVID or the time of year or what it is, but you never know. Maybe there'll be one here when you're in Adelaide. Glenelg is a lovely place to hang out on the beachfront with all of the waves and the sand, the sandstony kind of buildings, the Ferris wheel, but the real reason that we came to Glenelg today was because I discovered that they have a chicken and chip shop which is completely gluten-free. I'm really lucking it in with the gluten-free on this trip, so we had to pop in and give it a try. We've just gone with the chicken rocks with chicken salt as well, so extra chickeny, and let's see how they go. Completely different to the chicken schnitzel that we had before, which wasn't chicken as it turns out.
No surprises
Pork
there.
schnitzel. Yeah, this one hasn't got the actual breadcrumb. This was more of a thinner coating on it, but it's delicious. They do also do chips and gravy and chicken rolls and all sorts of things that are like unheard of for gluten-free, but we just pigged out on chicken schnitzel, so unfortunately the chicken rocks was about all we could face. But know that they have more, and I would be all over it if I wasn't full. So it's now nighttime and we've popped down to Henley Beach. Not that you can see too much of the ocean right now because it's pitch black out there. We've gone to get ourselves some dinner. Went to Cheeky Greek because I knew that they did gluten-free gyros because I've had it before. So we went and grabbed some of that. We're just going to share it because we're still full from earlier. Oh my gosh, the food on this trip, I tells you. This is actually a really nice place to hang out in the daytime because obviously you've got the beach and you've got all of the shops around here, the ice cream places. At the moment, at nighttime, there's all of the fairy lights lit up in the middle here, and it's very pretty. Anyway, I'm gonna try this food. That's interesting. The pita tastes like the ones that I make at home when we make our own naan bread at home. So maybe I'm onto something. It tastes so good. That meat is delicious, and the sauce on it, I think it was tzatziki. How do you say that? How do you say that?
I think with a T.
Tzatziki. You know what I'm talking about. It's so delicious, and then the freshness of the lettuce and the tomato. Oh, it's good stuff, I tell you. I better turn off the camera so Jessie can have some too.
Wow, that gyros could change people's lives. I was not expecting that exact flavour. The barbecued chicken, but it's like it was cooked in heaps of citric acid. So flavoursome. Almost like it had everything, umami and salt. We'll have to go back for that. Alright, I've got my schooner, my micro schooner. I went straight to the North England IPA for ultimate flavour. What's this one? They call this the number 3. DDDH Cryo. Must be double dry hopped. Oh man, yeah, I love that stuff. Had one of these the other day somewhere and it tasted like this. I don't know, it's probably 8% or something, 7 point something. It's just delicious. It's a pirate life for me.
And I got myself some not beer. This one is actually a Barossa Valley Shiraz, which is a wine region just outside of Adelaide, which we will hopefully have time to get to on this trip. But in case we don't, I decided I'd get myself a Shiraz.
It looks delicious.
Oh my goodness, that is delicious. Full and red and fruity and in your face and amazing.
Are you saying people need to go to beer places to get good wine?
Maybe they just need to go to the Barossa. I think we have to go to the Barossa now. This is one of the best wines I've had in a long time. And that's it for our time in Adelaide. If you'd like to see more videos from us, hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Even with all the works going on.
Oh!
How did that happen? Oh no! I've already got coffee all over you. Hey, maybe that's why you never notice that smell in your car when something's wet in there. It's because you like it so much.
Is that why I like earthy heated whiskey as well?
Maybe. Learning a lot here today. In the grotto.
She loved it until I told her it was pork.
What's that? Come on, Meanwhile, our GPS thinks we're in a school zone.
But
There's no school zone.
it said that there was a school zone in the car park we were in.
It's very flavorful, was it?
No, it's a flavoursome. It's a
Flavorful.
I don't think people will understand what I mean when I say flavoursome.
No, flavorful.
It's a word from a bygone era, it seems. Hop stuff, IPA, NEPA, whatever. It's just delish.
Rookie mistake. We forgot to put fuel in the hire car, so I'm sitting here with the bags, waiting for Jessie to fill the car so we can return it. Yay!